On a rocky ridge above Transylvania, one castle became more famous for a fictional vampire than for the real history written into its walls. Bran Castle is real. Stoker's Dracula is fiction. But between them lies one of the most powerful transformations in modern historical imagination. The mystery is not whether a vampire ruled from this fortress. The mystery is how the world came to believe this was his castle. To understand that myth, we must begin with stone, borders, mountain passes, and a fortress built to watch movement through the Carpathians. Bran Castle rises near a natural corridor between Transylvania and Wallachia, a route of merchants, soldiers, customs, and danger. Long before it became a Gothic icon, the castle belonged to a practical world of tolls, defense, and political control. Its towers were not designed for fantasy. They were designed to see the road, guard the pass, and make authority visible from below. In the late medieval world, a fortress like this was a statement. Someone controlled the gate between mountains. Every approach to Bran works like theater. The forest closes in, the rock rises, and the castle appears as if the landscape has lifted it into shadow. That image mattered. Centuries later, the silhouette would become more persuasive than the documents. The real castle began as a border stronghold tied to the defense and commerce of the region, not to vampires, coffins, or midnight legends. Its walls watched trade routes and frontier tension, where Transylvanian towns, Hungarian authority, Saxon communities, and Wallachian politics met. This was a complicated borderland, and borderlands are where stories grow teeth. From the outside, Bran looks like a perfect Gothic invention. High rock, pale stone, sharp roofs, and narrow windows staring into mist. From the inside, it is more intimate. Rooms layered above rooms, steep stairs, thick walls, wooden ceilings, and views that turn mountains into warnings. The castle's power is visual before it is historical. It looks as though a legend was waiting for it. But the name that changed everything was not Bran. It was Dracula. The name Dracula points toward a different historical world. Vlad III of Wallachia, later known in popular memory as Vlad the Impaler. Vlad was a 15th century Wallachian ruler shaped by war, hostage politics, Ottoman pressure, local rivalries, and severe methods of power. His reputation became dark because chroniclers, rivals, and later print culture remembered, repeated, and reshaped his violence across Europe. Yet the connection between Vlad and Bran Castle is fragile. Some traditions link him to the region, but the castle was not his famous seat of power. What remains clear is that history supplied a name, a reputation, and a region. Fiction supplied the vampire. In 1897, Bram Stoker published Dracula, a novel that turned Transylvania into one of the most atmospheric landscapes in literature. Stoker created a count, a castle, a journey, and a mood so powerful that later readers and travelers began to search for the place behind the nightmare. There is no strong evidence that Stoker visited Bran Castle. The famous association grew later, through resemblance, tourism, cinema, travel writing, and imagination. That is what makes the story so fascinating. A real fortress and a fictional castle slowly began to overlap in the public mind. Bran had everything the myth needed: isolation, height, mountain fog, medieval rooms, narrow staircases, and a dramatic silhouette above a village. The castle did not need to prove the legend. It only needed to look like the legend people had already imagined. This is how architecture becomes myth, not by facts alone, but by atmosphere, repetition, and the hunger for a visible place to attach to a story. The Carpathians helped complete the illusion. Their forests, ridges, and winter shadows gave the castle a stage that felt older than explanation. Visitors arriving in Transylvania could see what the novel made them expect: a fortress that seemed to belong to darkness, even in daylight. But behind that darkness is a real Romanian monument with a history larger than Dracula. Bran Castle served military, administrative, and customs roles, shifting through centuries of regional power and changing political borders. Its story also includes royal Romania, when the castle became associated with Queen Marie and a very different kind of memory. Under Queen Marie, Bran was transformed from a defensive structure into a romantic royal residence, filled with domestic warmth and artistic identity. This part of Bran's history is often overshadowed because the Dracula myth is louder than the lives that truly shaped the rooms. That tension creates the real documentary drama. The castle is not false, but the story most people know is only one layer. Walk through its corridors and the myth follows you. But so do older realities: border defense, royal taste, local trade, and mountain life. A narrow stairway can feel like a horror image, but historically it is also engineering. A defensive interior, compact, vertical, and difficult to storm. A courtyard can feel haunted, but it is also practical. A protected core where stone walls controlled movement, weather, and access. A tower window can feel supernatural, but it was a watch point, framing roads, forests, and approaching danger. The genius of the Dracula Association is that every real defensive feature can be reinterpreted as a Gothic clue. Iron hinges become ominous. Candlelit rooms become secret chambers. Mist becomes a warning. Stone becomes memory. The castle did not become Dracula's castle overnight. It was gradually cast into that role by literature, film, postcards, travel writing, tourism, and expectation. Popular culture wanted a physical Dracula castle, and Bran offered the perfect answer: accessible, dramatic, Romanian, and visually unforgettable. Over time, the question stopped being whether the link was historically strong. The stronger question became why the link felt so convincing. The answer lies in the way human imagination works. We want legends to have addresses. We want the fictional door to open onto real stone. We want the invented count to leave a shadow on an actual wall. Bran Castle gave Dracula something fiction rarely has: geography. And Dracula gave Bran something history rarely guarantees: global recognition. This exchange changed the castle forever. A local fortress became an international symbol of Transylvania, mystery, and the border between fact and fiction. The myth also created a strange kind of protection. People came for Dracula, but many discovered Romanian history, mountain architecture, and medieval border life. That is why the story is not simply a mistake. It is a cultural transformation. The castle became a screen onto which different centuries projected different fears: invasion, isolation, superstition, foreignness, death, desire, and the unknown. For medieval people, the mountains guarded passages. For modern visitors, they guard a story. For historians, Bran is a fortress with layered roles. For popular culture, it is the threshold to Dracula. For the Golden Atlas, it is something even more interesting: a place where architecture became evidence for a myth it did not originally belong to. That is why the castle still works on the imagination. It stands at the meeting point of real stone and invented darkness. No single document created Dracula's castle. It was built by landscape, literature, cinema, tourism, and the human need to make legends visible. The result is a monument with two histories: the one recorded in archives and the one carried by millions of minds. One history belongs to medieval borders and Romanian royalty. The other belongs to a vampire novel and the global language of Gothic fear. Neither history fully erases the other. Instead, they gather around the castle like layers of mist. That mist is why Bran remains powerful. It is not just a castle. It is a question in stone. How much of a place is made by what happened there, and how much by what the world needs to believe happened there? Bran Castle became Dracula's castle because it looked like the missing piece of a story people already wanted to enter. Its towers, cliffs, forests, and corridors gave imagination a body. And once imagination inhabits a monument, it can become harder to remove than any king, army, or border. The Real Bran still stands above the road, watching the mountains as it always did. But the Bran known to the world stands somewhere else too, in novels, films, dreams, and the dark theater of popular memory. That is the strange power of this fortress. It did not create Dracula, but it gave the legend a home. And in the mountains of Transylvania, that home became almost impossible to separate from the myth. Perhaps that is why Bran Castle endures, not as proof of Dracula, but as proof that stories can occupy stone. The castle remains where history ends and imagination begins.